Hi, welcome to the new week. So we're at Monday. I know, surprise, surprise, it's me. Sarah's off. She's been busy sewing, so everything's ready to go. Hopefully the right colour. We are revisiting Dave the Dachshund. Okay, some of you will have seen this one. This one I made for Sarah because I sold the one that she made, and there was, I mean, we nearly fell out about it. I think I was about to be thrown out of White Gecko because it was on the thing, by the till, and somebody said, "Oh, how much for that one?" And I didn't know, and I sold it. So I made one as an apology. So we're going to revisit this because when we first started these 1 o'clocks, I was poorly and Sarah went off with one and did them all. And then when I started, I think Dave was one of the first ones that I did. And I think Facebook at the time was throwing us off after 40 minutes, and we go on for a lot longer than that. And it never, I rushed it, and when it went up on YouTube, we had a lot of people who said it wasn't very comprehensive. So I'm going to do it right from the beginning, okay? Before we start, we've got 14 left now on our, what's the thing, raffle. Got 14 left on the raffle. In fact, I've just left my husband in the shop dealing with Diane, who won the last raffle, and she's working out which 5 meters of fabric she wants to take home with her. So so that's really cool. It's nice that you can come in now and choose them rather than have to go through on the website, if you're local, that is. I haven't got a deal of the day because, quite honestly, it's been frantically busy this morning. It's ticked along, you know, but as one person's leaving, another one came in. So I will do better tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got Andy. We're going to do a live with Andy, and I haven't worked out how that's going to work yet. So, Dave the Dachshund. He's from Sew Magazine. So if you go to Sew Magazine's website, you can download the pattern and the templates, and they're quite good templates. Okay, sorry, my brain went off in a tangent then. The instructions are pretty good. They come out nice and big so that you can see them. So you go on, and I think you have to sign up. You have to enroll, but you don't pay anything. And there are a lot of patterns on there that are free. So we're going to do this one again. So without any further ado, I have cut out my 2 body pieces and 2 belly pieces. Okay, I've cut out 4 of the ear pieces, 2 in the fabric, the outside fabric, and 2 in corresponding. Corresponding. I've decided my belly is going to be in a corresponding rather than in the other one. I tried to find patterns that there was a difference to the front and back, because I used calico last time and there was no, because I thought it would be easier, and it actually wasn't. So and a head gusset. You just need 1 head gusset. Okay, so I've done that one. All right, so we're going to sew them together. I haven't done any of the sewing. So who am I talking to while I whip round these U's?
Let's move the camera. And then we got hellos from Sonia, Linda, Karen.
Hi Lindsay, how you feeling?
Marion, Carol, Jean, bunch of people.
Cool. It's nice that you're here, and hello to those that never say hello and just watch us silently in the background, or those that are going to catch up with us later on. I love that even though you're all back in work, you follow us later on. I like that. I'm not going to get very far with that now, am I? So that's one ear done. I'm doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance. The seam allowance is included in the pattern. You don't have to work it out or anything. So for some reason my coordinating ears, you can see I'm just winging it round the corners. Nobody's symmetrical either, so don't think that if your ear hasn't come out right that it matters, because dogs aren't symmetrical either. Now we're going to cut this with pinking shears, so I'm going to go around my curves with the pinking shears, okay, so that it helps with instead of going into it. It's something that I've started doing. I think Sarah did it on one thing and I thought, do you know, that's so much better. I'm so prone to cutting into my stitches, so the whole point of doing the pinking shears or the snipping into your curves is so that the fabric folds better. Now, I didn't bring my pokey stick. Oh, this Sarah's got one. So we're going to go and try and turn these in. Now, that's perfect, thank you. Okay, so now that's better. I'm not worried about shoving it through the fabric now. So we're just going to push out all the ears. Okay. So, is there any questions so far, hon?
Kate said, what is that spiral block behind you called? And do you have a pen?
That spiral block behind us is the one that Sarah did for the Zoom class this week that's just gone. It's lush, isn't it? So I'm sure there will be a pattern at some point, but as she's on holiday this week, you might want to give her a week, but knowing Sarah, she'll have done it by, you know, it might even be on the website, so have a look, okay? She might be commenting now as we speak. But yeah, the girls, the ones that I saw, they made a lovely job of it. You might have to wait a little bit longer because it was a class. So there we go. So we now have 2 ears. Note the fussy cutting. Okay. So we have 2 ears. They are going in opposite directions. They're perfectly good. Now, on the pattern, you can see where the ears are marked, and I've marked my fabric where the ears are. In fact, I've gone round and with an iron off pen, I've put all my dots and things in. Okay, so we're going to take this off, and what we're going to do is we're going to baste the ears in place. So there's our thing. So you're going to want to make sure that the ears, you don't want them going backwards. That just looks backwards. So I'm going to put them like that, and I'm going to baste them in place. So under your 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to baste that one on there. Where's my pins gone? Okay, like that. And I'm going to baste that one on there like that. Now, if you're in any doubt whatsoever, you can line up your ears like that and like that, and then lay it on top. But you just want to pin it in place. Okay, so back to the sewing machine. I'm going to baste those in place. So remember, you want to do it in less than your seam allowance. So it's just to hold them in place when you're doing everything else, okay? That's that one. And this one. So right on the end. It's just so that you can do all this without using the pins. So you can see it's gone really close to the edge. All right. Okay, so we've done those two. We don't need those pins now. We're going to take our belly pieces, and with our belly pieces you can see that you've got 2 points up here, which I've filled in, okay, and then they've got these 2 points E and F. Now that's the gap, all right, that's the gap we're going to leave. So I'm now going to sew from here to there, back stitch, and then up to here, and leave that bit there open. Okay, so right sides together, and I'm going to dead on, look at that. And then we're going to go, I'm going to back stitch here because I didn't on the last one, and I could see it pulling. And we'll come to here, back stitch, cut it. So what have you all been up to? I spent the weekend doing a Bargello quilt, and then I worked out the block that I'm going to do on Wednesday, and I have to say I love it. I think I like repetitiveness in these quilts. I think I quite like those. I think it's more mindful for me to do it. Now, one of the things that I didn't say, if you note these points, they don't go right to the end. So if you start at these points, it's going to give you, when you have to put it on the dog, you're going to have, you should have a bit that you can play with that will go into the seams, you know, so it becomes part of the seam allowance. Anyway, right, so we've done that. Now you want to iron this out. So you're going to want to put your, so I'm going back over here. You want to put your seam allowance in, which if you iron in your seam allowance now, there, you'll find that it will be easier to to ladder stitch it afterwards. So if you do that and then fold this back, I'm making a real meal of this one, but you get the idea. If you iron in your seam allowances in your open bit, there we go, like that, and go up there. Now with toy making, quite often you'll iron your seams open. If you can't get the iron in there, if you get your fingers in and use your nails, see my pretty nails? If you want pretty nails like mine, go and see Meg. Okay, up there, like that. If you do like a nail press, it'll put it in, and you can see now that your gap is there and it's crisp, so you'll be able to ladder stitch it a lot easier because it's nice and crisp. Okay, so we've done all those pieces. As you can see, it's really quite easy. Now this is the bit that gets most people. What we're going to do is we're going to put the head gusset in. Now you can see I've marked here which are A to B. That's where your gusset is going to sit, in there. Now it's, because it's curved, it's on the bias. So what we're going to do is we're going to start there and we're going to sew it around the head. Okay, so we're going to go back over to the sewing machine. I'm holding this. You could pin it. I tend to wing it. So I'm just pinning it now, like this. So any questions there, Al?
Pat asked, have you got the pattern for the dog on the website?
For this one, no. It's a free pattern. There should be a link that came up. I scheduled it to come up just before, or no. When did I schedule it for? It might be come up just before 2. About when I thought I'd be finished chatting. I thought I'd be really posh and scheduled it. Okay, so we're just going around this. I put pins in there. I should have had a look to see for plique pins. Plique pins are really good for toy making because they're tiny, tiny, tiny. I'll show you that. Let's see if I can find some. Okay, so we're going to, what's my point? Should finish about there. So we're going to go in like this. Okay, just going to cut this and have a look at it, as per usual. So we've done the gusset and it's going to sit like that. So keep going along. The gusset doesn't seem to be sitting where my spots are. We're just going to bring that in to there. This is where. Okay. Bearing in mind I haven't made one of these for over a year now. The explanations are very good. Okay, so took it from there to there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip into this here. So I'm going to snip into the curves. All right. So you can see how to do both. All right. I'm going to take a bit of that off. Take that down there. And then this, as you can see, is going to be his gusset. I've got a feeling I should have started a bit further. I've got a bit here, but we're going to sew that in to the seam and we'll see how it goes. Right, so we now need to put the legs on. Right, you can see that this bit goes up his tail. All right, and that bit goes up his throat, and we need to work out where everything's going to go. So that's going to go in there. No, it would go in that way, wouldn't it? Yes, because we're going backwards. Right, so we're going to put this one right sides together and we're going to pin that in place. Now last time I did this, I made like 4 to make sure that I knew what I was doing. You've got to make sure that his ear doesn't get in the way of any of your sewing. And you're going to, is that right? Is that in the right place? We're going to pin around here. And we're going to sew one side. So we're going to go from here all the way round to his bit of tail by there. Okay, on the same side of the dog as you've just put your gusset piece on. Why don't we just use the pins in Dave? Okay, so here we go. So any words of wisdom there?
Not that Mum hasn't answered.
There we go. And we're going to go right up to there. Okay, so you can see where you've left the gap. It'll sit a little bit better in place. All right. So, in fact, I'm going to sew from there to that way because it's going to fit on the machine better. Right, off we go. Dave was one of our first lessons when we opened the shop as well. Ow. Okay, so off we go, all the way round. Keep moving and adjusting if you need to. I forgot to bring stuffing, so we're going to have to do this without stuffing the little thing. Okay, so again we're doing 1/4 inch as much as you can. With the 1/4 inch foot it pushes it out the way. So when you come up to this bit here, turn it, do 2 stitches, turn it, and then you can stitch along. Okay. And there's the stuffing just arrived. So, see, Sarah's better than Argos. Have you seen Argos? They deliver. You can order it and it delivers within a couple of hours with some things. It's amazing. We had an iron break on a class once, and Sarah ordered an iron and it arrived before they went back from lunch. Amazing. Perfect. Right, so we're going all the way around his last foot. If in doubt, just take it slowly, okay? Just take it, that goes for any sewing really. There is nothing that you cannot do as long as you take your time. Okay, so let's go back there and cut that one. So we now have legs on one side of the dog. And for the last piece, we're going to attach your final piece, okay? And we're going to attach it all the way around. Remember, you've got this bit here that's open that you'll be able to turn your dog out. So just pick a point and sew him together, pin him together. Right, you're going to bring this one up here so that you go from the one side What have I done here? So you're going to pin it like this. Okay. I'll pin it there, and then you're going to pin it so you sort of like fold it there. So you want that to be separate, but then we're going into the tail. Okay, so you have to take it easy at these points. So we're going to stick a pin in there like that, and then we're going to come up his tail. I'm going to stick a pin up there like that, and then we're going to come along his back. So any questions?
Catherine says great demo.
Oh, thanks.
So let's come in.
So I'm going up here. I've noticed I've chosen the same colouring as that one.
In reverse.
In reverse, yeah. So where I've got this bit that seems to be extra, I'm just going to pull it through. Okay, so I'm going to pin that bit there like that, but we want that to separate. All right, I've got lots of pieces of fabric here now. I'm going to bring that into there. Perhaps we'll work backwards. We want this bit here to match up with that. It's just messing with it, playing around with it until it all fits. I think gussets are something, it's a bit like darts, you know, darts on a dress, and gussets, they're something that you fiddle with. The elephant had a gusset and I found it quite a fiddly thing. Need to come up with a better idea than that type of gusset, I think. Right, let's pull that up. When we come along here, we're going to take it slowly. I'm going to make sure that that extra piece of fabric there is out, because you need to, again, where we went into one here, you're going to come out of one into two different avenues over the gusset. Like that. And even if you have to do it in two pieces, you know, 2 lots of sewing, just take it easy. I think Sarah needs some new pins. Some of them are not very sharp. Right, okay, so make sure his ears are out the way. Okay, and then we're coming down here where we're going to split again into 2. That bit there. Okay, so now we're going back into his feet and around. Okay, you all with me so far? I think we ought to have a competition. We ought to see everybody's Daves. So show us your Daves afterwards and I'll send you 2 fat quarters. Right, we're all pinned. We're going to go for it. I'm going to take that one out of there. I'm going to put a small one in there. This is where applique pins, again, like I was saying. Now I know Sarah's got a few. Here's an applique pin. Can you see the difference in the pins? So there's your applique pin. That's a normal glass head pin, and these are the flower pins. So can you see the difference in size? You're using all of those to go round a toy as small as this is a no-brainer, really. Okay, right, back over here. Took your eye off the ball.
I think the gimbal died.
Oh, right, okay. So off we go. Pick a point, any point. Right, I'm going to go for this one here. I'm going to start under his chin. I'm going to make sure, because that's where the ears are. Okay, so I'm going to start on the point. Okay, so I've closed all, folded all the pieces together, and I'm going to try and get it right to the point. There we go. All right, so now you probably don't need a back stitch there because you're going to go all the way round. So I'm going round his nose. Taking it slowly. There we go. Right, I'm coming up to here. Now this is where the gusset was. Okay, so again, we're going to sew to the point, catch the gusset, and then I'm going to lift that, and I'm going to move the other half with the gusset, and I've tucked it underneath. Okay, and with my fingers crossed, I'm going to keep going, checking that the gusset is out of the way, all the way round. Because you don't want to sew the two pieces of his head together. Okay, so I'm going to keep going round. You can feel with your fingers where everything is, and then we're going to check to see where that bit was. Where is it? So we want to bring the other bit of the gusset back in. I can hear Kath going, oh, I'm not doing toys ever again. So we want that part of there. I thought you were waving at me then. Okay, let's give this a go. Make sure everything's out of the way. Don't know how that's going to work, and we shall see. So right, round his back. And up his tail. I'm going to get rid of that one there. And again, while you're going round his tail, anything there while I'm doing this bit?
Karen asked, would it help if you used an AWLE? I don't know how to say that.
Owl.
Owl.
An awl. Yeah, probably. Probably. I worry that I think I've caught it all, but I don't know whether anything's, I think there might be a bit sticking out the other side. Right, so we're going to get back down to this bit here, this point here. And now I need to move his other leg, side of the leg that we've already sewn, needs to come out of the way. Okay, so you need to make sure as you're going around that you've moved everything out the way so that you're not catching it. Whose idea was it to do this? So I'm going round. Was there anything else that you lot wanted to know about? You know, if you want to message us, whether there's anything that you want to know, we're better off with a vague idea rather than a definite somebody else's pattern necessarily. Although it's nice not to have to write a pattern. Okay, so we're going along his belly now. Remember, we don't have to worry about the hole because we've left the hole. Come around, make sure it's still all together. You need to check it afterwards as well. Oh, too fast, Seth, too fast. Okay, so now sticking in a gusset at the bottom like this, you know, with the legs on, it's quite a good way of putting any 2D pattern and making it into a 3D pattern, just in case you ever want to do that. Right, we're coming back to where we were before, and we're going to go through, follow the line and a back stitch. Okay, so now the best thing to do now is to check, because you've worked on one side and you want to check that there's no gaps, that you've not left any gaps. I might have made him a bit of a bum there. That would be interesting to see. Okay, so I don't think I've gone off any edges. So now we're going to clip into all our curves and then turn him out. So I'm going to clip down around all 4 legs and round his tail, round his muzzle. So while I'm doing this, anything there?
Karen said, would it be possible to sew all the pieces on one side and then put on the other side?
That's what we did.
Yeah.
We did sew all the pieces on one side, I think. Okay, so we're going right round. Yeah, we sewed the head gusset onto the one side, and then see, look, I completely missed that head gusset on the way round. So we're going to, this is why you check it better than I did. I'm going to unpick a bit of that and we're going to go round that again. Must have got folded down as I went. Okay, I'm going to tuck, no, still not right. There we go. Do you remember the little trick with your red ball that completely wowed me. The red ball is there, supposed to rub out the hole, as it were. Right, okay, so because I'm adding this, I'm going to put a couple of back stitches in there, and then I'm going to follow round the curve of the head. Keep my fingers crossed. There we go. Okay, right. Now we're going to clip into that curve as before. And round here. I'm going to take that big bit off there because I don't need that. Okay, I think we've done. Oh, Mr. Side, look. Oh, you're not on it.
It's back.
Oh, sorry. If you just lost us, we imparted the meaning of life. Do you know what the meaning of life is?
42.
Yeah. Oh, I love a geek. Okay, right. I think I've done that. So we're just going to turn him out. Now, fingers crossed, drum roll. Okay. I'm going to point him out like this. Where's his foot? There. I'm going to pull all these things through. Pull his tail out like that. This is where you find out I've got shoddy sewing. Oh, got to push his legs out, look. Okay, so we've got his little legs. Any more wisdom? Right.
Not that I can see.
No. Okay. And there we have a dog. So, could have caught that a little bit better there. I've left him a ridge there as well. He's a ridgeback. He's a ridgeback Dachshund. Okay. So you all going to go and make one? If you add it to the post that will come up with the link, if you do one, you do that, don't you? Then we'll put all of you into a paper bag, and I'll send the winner to Two Fat Quarters. Okay, so I'm just giving him a little bit of substance so that you can see how he works, because they take a bit of stuffing. Now you could blow up the size and make him into a doorstop, if you know how to do that on your computer. I don't. So there we go. I'm going to shove that into his nose. So we've got Andy from Crafty UK tomorrow. So he's going to come and we're going to try and do a Facebook Live with him, which should be quite interesting. So you're going to have to bear with us tomorrow. if you saw our lives, we managed to sort it in the end. And I will search out a deal of the day for you. Don't forget, we've only got 14 left on the raffle, so you'll be able to, you know, if you want £180 worth of stuff from the shop, you'll be able to enter that. So there we go. He's not fully stuffed, but you get the picture. There's our Dave the dog. Now go out and make a better job of it than I have. He's a bit like the dog from Nightmare at Christmas. You know, the little ghost dog?
Zero.
Zero. He's a bit like that. You could do him white with a bit of black. So if you're going to put safety eyes on him, you'd want to do that now before you stuff him. Okay. If you want these, I think, yeah, these are sewn on. We do have those in the shop. I put a black button for his nose. You could embroider one on, put a button for his nose. Since he's pincushion, I think he's quite cute. There you go. There's a Dave. These coordination fabrics. I hope that's helped a little bit. Everybody was on about, they'd seen Sarah's Dave, so they wanted a Dave of their own. Everyone needs a Dave. You can't have mine. So, I'll see you tomorrow. That's me out. It's not bad, 47 minutes. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.